This year's report focuses on urban risk, as we know, in the context of a world which is urbanising rapidly, where over half the world's population now live in cities for the first time, and more people than ever live in slums.
Urban, from our point of view, is possibly the new rural. The majority of the world is crowding into cities. Some 1 billion of them now already live precariously in slums and shanty towns, and it's estimated that this population will grow to 1.5 billion and more over the next 10 years.
We believe that without basic geographic knowledge, you cannot, if you don't know how the resources are distributed, like, for example, hospitals, schools, how they are connected with roads, you cannot really talk about improving people's lives. As I said, this is not only geographic locations, this is also information about each individual structure there.
We really wanted to make use of the multimedia tools, the social networking tools that are available. This website was created by the Map Kibera program, and it's called The Voice of Kibera. It uses the Ushahidi platform, which was developed here in Kenya for crowdsourcing crisis information. Now we're trying to use it as an extended, long-term deployment of the platform, a community website for sharing information about what's happening on the ground in Kibera. How do the Kibera residents interact with this website if it's on the internet? Well, we have a short code where people can SMS in information, what's happening on the ground. They can tell their day-to-day stories, what is life like in Kibera. So this is to contradict or to contrast what the mainstream media talks about Kibera.
Kibera News Network was founded early this year. We've seen Kibera being a place that has been sidelined in many occasions, and that we have decided to come up strong and bring stories that can reflect what really Kibera is made of.
The crisis of urban poverty, rapidly growing informal settlements, and growing numbers of urban disasters arises from the failure of governments to adapt their institutions to urbanisation.
From a legal eye, these areas are illegal. So giving them services is legalizing them. But the fact that they are illegal does not remove them from the face of the earth.
Don't pretend that they don't exist. They are there. Yeah? So since they are there, let us give them services. Let's put roads there. Let's plan them. That way, at least, as we try to do the slum upgrading, and then at least they have the basic services.
To reduce disaster risk, one of the key messages that has been inherent to what you have heard so far, and you can read in this report, is really to focus on good development. It's all about improving the lives of the people.
These people pay taxes, they vote, and more often than not, they contribute to the economy of this country.
We need to link a lot with the people at the grassroots level. There is a lot of potential and a lot of homegrown solutions in those areas.
Aid agencies must develop urban policies and learn to engage better with communities and local government.
Solutions cannot be defined by people writing a report in Geneva or elsewhere. Solutions need to be found in dialogue with the people affected.
Security is paramount to development. And if there is good security, normally these problems of conflict don't come in.
We have made it completely acceptable for people to live in human ways, in humane ways, in urban areas, in the slums.
What we see in urban settlements, and of course I think this report reflects it very well, that these informal settlements are a rising problem, is that communicable diseases are a big issue. The lack of healthcare, the lack of government investment can cause bigger problems than can be addressed immediately.
Urban is the new rural. We know in the international community with our national partners, Kenya Red Cross, etc., what to do in rural settings over years of experience. We know it's better to give seeds than food. We don't have the same wisdom for urban settings, and we need to continue the discussion.
Leadership cannot be left to government alone.
Ours is also to try to sensitize the general public about the need to be the neighbor's keeper.
We are trying to come up with an innovative way of having a firefighting equipment mounted on a motorcycle. And same case with an ambulance, but mounted on a motorcycle. Because that's the only way you can be able to access these informal settlements.
It is possible to overcome the challenges in urban settings and including in shanty towns. And maybe the two key messages we would like to give, and hopefully you will be able to take away from this, is number one, good governance counts.
Good urban governance is key to ensuring people are empowered, involved and consulted in the development of their urban environment and not marginalised and left exposed to disasters, climate change, violence and ill health. Good urban governance ensures that basic protective infrastructure and social services also provided to people living in informal settlements to minimise the risks to people's health and livelihoods, with particular attention to vulnerable groups. Good urban governance is key to disaster risk reduction in response to the usual cycle of natural disasters and those that will certainly be triggered in the future by climate change.
If we embrace urban planning, we can do a lot of disaster risk reduction in our settlement.
It cannot be left to the passengers, right? The authorities and the legal frameworks for making sure that these things happen must come into play.
We want to urge you, us, and together here, since this is really everybody's business, to work together with community organizations, with technical institutions, academia, and with a very big and vibrant movement of the Red Cross and Red Crescent that can help influence the way that governance is actually being implemented. My call to you and to the organizers and the writers of the report is that now we do the best possible efforts together to use the recommendations of this report and turn them into our everyday advocacy and activity wherever we sit.
Urbanization actually has been a key factor of growth and development in many countries. A trend does not mean destiny. There are positive things that can be done, and chiefly what will make that happen is putting people first.